they went from gills to lungs so that they could produce their own sound waves. And it was all about this evolutionary process. And honestly, that's what TETRA stands for, is the evolutionary process of we have got to start to change how we look about hearing, and particularly preventing hearing loss.
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. It's going to be a fun show for you today. Mr. Don King is helping me co-host.
Yes, Jason, it is going to be great. We're going to learn all about how to hear the hunt.
Yes.
And protect your ears at the same time.
Exactly. I'm excited to talk about some of this new product I've learned about in the last couple months with the Tennessee Conservation Raffle. The TETRA Hearing was a big sponsor, a big partner in the raffle.
Right. And, on several of the hunts, that was a part of the package.
Yeah.
You got to, with this, the turkey hunt. Well, anyway, we'll get into the details, but man, this is going to be a really neat show.
I think so. Mr. Bill Dickinson is with us, the CEO and co-founder of TETRA. Bill, thank you for being here.
Oh man, thank you. This is the place to be. Like I said, it's the ultimate man cave. I feel like I got to sneak in the back door of a rock star.
Yeah, we'll get you green M&Ms later. It's fun to be here on the show. I hope people that are out there on the radio and on social media and all those places are enjoying the show and like what they're hearing.
Yeah. And thanks, a shout out to our radio partners. We really appreciate them getting the word out, getting the information out from week to week, and we just thank them so much.
Yeah, and I think this is the first show back since we were awarded first place.
Exactly. Yeah,
at the ACI Award. So we are
able to pat ourselves on the back yet, had we?
Yeah.
Officially.
Yeah, officially. So we entered the show into the ACI Awards, and we won again. So first place this time.
First place. That's some stiff competition. Tooting our own horn here, but Bill, I'm just going to let you know that we, as Jason said, we submitted it, and that's the Association for Conservation Information. It's a national organization. A lot of the folks that do what we do, communications work for state agencies across the country, send in entries, and Jason being the host, he walked away with the number one.
It wasn't me. It was a team effort. Couldn't do it without you and Todd behind the scenes here.
That's right. Todd takes care of us, make sure we always sound good and look as good as we possibly can. But anyway, that was really nice to be able to accept that. And good job.
Well, man, congratulations, because that kind of stuff does not come easy, and it's clear just by being in here a few minutes that you guys work hard, probably play hard too, but you definitely work hard, and it already shows. So
that's good.
And the best news, patting yourself on the back, I think, is appropriate COVID social distancing behavior. So you can just pat yourself on the back, and you're good right now. So have at it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do that because your buddy can't reach you.
Good observation. That 6 foot's a long ways away.
Oh man. Which is funny. That brings I call my time in this building was my first COVID tragedy. It was we were scheduled to meet here March 19th, 2020. It was my first COVID cancellation.
Oh, really?
And that's what kind of kicked it all off. So I'm even more pumped to be here with you guys today.
Wow.
Yeah, I was coming here to meet with Johnny. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, Johnny Allred with the foundation. The foundation, steered this raffle and did a great job with it, and we appreciate all those guys over there, Joey and Richard, and just all of them, Dan, Johnny. But anyway, it was a great raffle. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. Also, deer season's firing up this weekend. 27th, 28th, 29th is the velvet or the antlered only hunt. Most of the deer are probably going to be in velvet. Some may have lost some of that by now, but we're excited. It's happening again this year, so if you're getting ready for deer season this weekend, you can get out there archery only. So that's in all units, antlered only. So just check your guide. I think there's one exception.
One other reminder about tag before you drag.
Yes, that's important this year as well as last year and the year before, or whenever we got back into that. Tag before you drag is important. You got to make sure you get that confirmation number on that deer, turkey, etc. Before you
right there in the field.
Leave the field.
And easiest way to do it's through the app. Just do it right there where you are, and even if you don't have cell service, it'll hold the information until you do get cell service, and it'll ping it right up there, and then you're good to go.
Yep, very important. And I'll backtrack on my. Like I said, this is live to tape, so we're going to backtrack. It is archery only, except for the CWD unit, and they can use gun, muzzleloader, or archery. So just check your guide. The new guide is out. If you're watching, I'm going to hold it up. There it is. It's got the Ford truck on the front. Appreciate them being a sponsor for the Conservation Raffle. But that's the new guide, and just check it. Check it before you head out in the woods. Remember your carcass transportation restrictions in CWD land and unit CWD out there. And anyway, we're excited about deer season firing up here pretty soon.
All right,
Bill. I want to let you introduce yourself to the folks out there listening and watching. Just tell us who you are and a little bit about how you got to TETRA, and how that came about.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is my 30th year as a hearing doc. So I did all my training up in Michigan, and I think I've just for myself, I've had the best career I could ever imagine 30 years ago when it started out. I started out in the VA system, and I was there about 4 years, and got to take care of just some unbelievably deserving young men and women, and old men and women. I had my first one. I remember the first time I saw a 100-year-old patient that I got to take care of, and that kind of stuff. And moved on. I was at Henry Ford Hospital. What got me to Tennessee was joining faculty at Vanderbilt here in town.
Okay.
And I ran the hearing aid program. And then I got a phone call and got asked to join the global leader in hearing care, and it was Phonak US, and so I was vice president of audiology, and that's really where I got to learn how to kind of the secret of how sausage is made in the hearing aid industry, right? And kind of got to look back underneath the engines and pick up the hood and look at the engine of how these devices are made, and that was just invaluable.
Yeah.
To get me to the point, it was really a very large family decision. I've got 3 awesome kids. The youngest is now a senior in high school and down at Ravenwood. Just kicked off Friday Night Lights last Friday, and he was leaving 8th grade, and I was kind of sick and tired of being on a plane and going. I got to go some awesome places all over the world and the country, but I needed to be home, and it was the best decision I ever made. 2 weeks later, we registered TETRA Hearing LLC with the state of Tennessee.
Man, that's awesome.
It's been a rocket ship ever since. So
yeah, that's crazy. So where did the name come from?
Man, you know what? It's unbelievable how little I'm asked that, and so I can't believe you started there. It's pretty cool. The big picture from a science standpoint, tetrapoda was the most well-documented evolutionary process of sea animals to land animals, or reptiles to mammals, right? And we've got the most, well-documented process of that. In order to do that, they had to change. They had to go from a lateral line like fish and salamanders, which is how they felt vibrations, and said they had to hear acoustic sound waves, right? So they needed an auditory system. They needed an ear and an eardrum, and mammals communicate with each other, right? There's a whole lot of talk. Spend a moment in April in Tennessee in the woods, and you know what kind of communication's going on out there, right?
Yeah.
There's a great love story going on with those turkeys. But so they had to be able to communicate and hear, and they went from gills to lungs so that they could produce their own sound waves, and it was all about this evolutionary process. And honestly, that's what TETRA stands for, is the evolutionary process of we have got to start to change how we look about hearing, and particularly preventing hearing loss. We've come too far in society and other parts with health and wellness and safety, and we've just kind of left protecting the ear. It might happen, it might not happen, and it most often for hunters and shooters, it most often doesn't happen.
Yeah, gets overlooked a lot. I know Jason and I are musicians. Jason plays drums, I play guitar, and play in a band together. Full disclosure here, but and I've done music since I was 10 years old. So, and I've traveled a lot and done it professionally for about 20 years before I started working here full time. And I'm always aware of my surroundings and realized how important that is to keep your ears, and I do a lot of engineering now, sound engineering, and I want to hang on to mine as long as I possibly can. So this subject matter is close to my heart.
Well, you just completely, Don, opened the door on really what was the leading technology with how we designed TETRA, and it came out of the music industry. That 20 plus years ago, we figured out within the ear monitors how to finally plug up a musician's ear, and it didn't matter if you were playing, if it was guitar or drum or bass or backup vocals or lead singer. Now you see every artist has something in their ears, right?
In-ear monitor,
In-ear monitors. You know what that is. And you know that each of those in-ear monitors are finely tuned for the performance of that artist, right? That's what got us to pursuit-based hearing systems for hunting. That what you need as a turkey hunter is uniquely different than what you need on this dove field that's going to happen here in a few days, right? Yep. And what you need in that dove field is uniquely different than a flooded green timber hunt. And what you need on a New Mexico elk hunt is completely different. So the hearing and the protective needs are very unique, just like weapons and ammo and boots and gear that we have. But it all came from the music industry.
Interesting.
So I didn't realize I was talking to two musicians here. So, I mean, you couldn't have set that up any better.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. And I've only researched a little bit about, your products and what they can do. And I see that there's an enhancement side, and then there's the suppression side, protection side. Reading a stat on your website talking about how the duck call can be just as dangerous as a gun blast. So get into a little bit about how you tune these and some of those statistics and things that makes these products stand out.
Yeah. This. I think for too long, society has felt that hearing loss is just kind of a rite of passage to having your own birthday cake, right? Like that it's just going to naturally happen, or that the auditory system is just somehow designed to degrade over time, and that couldn't be more true. That could not be more untrue. Right. It's what we do to ourselves along the line. Right. It's everything from the classic nutrition and exercise, which probably all of us could do a little bit better at, right? But most of it is sound, exposure to sound, and noise-induced hearing loss is the biggest culprit of how we end up with those bad ears. And it just tends, in general, males tend to put their ears in very hazard lifestyles. Very unfriendly lifestyles, and it doesn't matter if it's recreationally or occupationally. It doesn't necessarily, come with that XY chromosome by any means, but we kind of.
But typically, we're out there running the power equipment and stuff that a lot of ladies aren't exposed to.
And it's everything, and what we don't do is kind of that rite of passage of like just awareness of what you're doing. Jason had a great story before we kicked off here about your mowing yesterday.
Mowing the yard, got my earbuds in, and I had muffs on because my muffler's loud on the mower, and about an hour in with music going through my headphones, my phone pops up and tells me you've been listening to loud music for too long. Pretty much is what it said.
Yeah.
So,
and that's it. Hearing loss is caused by its intensity versus duration. How loud is it, and how long are you listening to it? And finally, we had an app, right, that's able to track that. Because what happens is you put your music in. Now, you were actually being very smart. You're putting muffs over your. Sounds like you had Apple AirPods in, or some version of that, right? And the idea is, what most people do is don't put the earmuffs over that. And so what happens is you're cranking up that music to overcome that muffler, and now you're getting it from two sources.
Sure.
And so I love that caution flag of like, hey, this isn't going right, and that's what we haven't been doing for generations. That first time that you hand over a power tool to any young child, but particularly a young man, kind of ends up to be this rite of passage, right?
Yeah.
Like how to push a lawnmower, start a lawnmower, run a weed whip, backpack blower, like all these are things that it's funny. 6, 7, 8-year-old little boys can't wait to do it. But you try to get that 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, what happens there?
What grass, Dad? It's not quite
high
yet. We don't need to cut it.
Right.
But that's where we need to start installing. Like, okay, before you first cut your first log with a chainsaw, this is what we put over our ears, right?
Yep.
And we're just we are carrying that mentality and that vision to hunters and sportsmen.
Yeah.
And if we can get them to, in my eyes, it's just plain wrong to bring a brand new first time hunter. I don't care if they're 8 or 28 or older. If it's your first time hunting, into a duck blind, and they look down at 8 years old and they see Papa and Daddy and Uncle Tommy and their 2 big brothers. And there's not an earplug to be found anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Because that moment is what imprinted on that young kid that this is how you duck hunt. And real duck hunters do it this way.
Yeah.
And that's just got to change. And it used to be the technology just wasn't there. There was a lot of reasons, particularly why waterfowl hunters, but any hunter. You couldn't blow a call. You couldn't hear your buddies. You couldn't be connected. You couldn't hear those wings ripping, the teal ripping behind you, right?
Yeah.
Or that, pre-dawn, those mallards just hammering it above you as they're getting up and moving. And that's what we're there for.
Well, I was going to say, can you explain a little bit how that particular
That sounds like enhancement. Too.
enhancement, enhancement and protection, right there in the duck blind, and then I think you said this could also be used. That version could also be used for dove hunting,
absolutely,
things like that. So just how does that work?
Yeah, we can absolutely tell you how sausage is made in the TETRA booth. So really, what we did is just like the musician to take it from there.
Right.
The bass guitar guy has to hear and wants to hear it different than the drummer. You're a great example.
Yeah, more snare in the monitor.
Right, and that's right. And like if you took your in-ear monitors out and put them in Don's ears, he'd say like, "Well, this sounds horrible."
Yeah, right.
Because it was built for you to be able to do what you do on that drum set. And we did the same thing. Kind of started with the same science with TETRA, and so. Actually, I think probably many of your listeners, one of their heroes, one of my all-time heroes growing up, was Harold Knight, David Hale and Harold Knight from Knight and Hale Game Calls. Right? Yeah. And my partner that started TETRA with me, Dr. David Genevico, who's got a practice here in Mount Juliet.
Okay.
And David and Harold used to fish on Kentucky Lake all the time together and battle it out at the Triton Zoner tournament, and that literally where they met. And Harold came up and did this, basically that turkey's gobbling and I can't hear him no more, right? And it was, well, Harold, we can fix that. And so he's been a great source, a great resource to us, from inception. Well, the biggest one, I'm telling you, he sat for 2 days in clinic. We put a microphone down on his eardrum, and we made over 1,000 recordings. He blew a whole box of duck and goose calls for 2 days straight, 5 hours a day. It was cool. I wish you were smart enough back then to just turn on the video camera and just run it because we missed unbelievable stuff. But,
wow!
And so the idea is that was the beginning of that's the core of the recipe right there. Is that when you don't have an ear blocked off. This is when a 6-time world championship caller and the guy who made the calls, that this is what it looks like acoustically at the eardrum. And that was the basis of our patent. And so we fine-tuned that. We got to be very good friends with Higdon Outdoors up in Paducah, Kentucky. And again, we went up there. Seemed like a million times. They probably thought it was a million times. Again, we'd put it in their ears and just fine-tune it. What do you like? You want a little more here, a little more there, a little more? And you just keep fine-tuning it to where the duck caller finally said, okay, that sounds good. That sounds normal. I can blow a call all day long. I don't even know it's there. And, from an acoustic side, what you're looking for is what's called transparency gain, like the device isn't even there. And the idea with that is it keeps all those intricate peaks and all that spectral content, so that when you're doing that, when you're getting on it, and then right,
yeah,
that voice, just like all of our voices, have a different spectral content. That's why the FBI can trace us on a phone call, right? Yeah. Well, that duck, that Susie, has the same exact spectral, voice analysis, and we just throw it through spectral analysis, and that became our patented formula for duck. And then we repeated it for turkey.
Wow.
Repeated it for elk. Repeated it for upland. We digitized pheasant flush and quail flush and chucker flush and cackle and dog bells and Garmin e-collars. And we said, if you need to hear it in that pursuit, we're going to enhance it. And if you don't need to hear it, like the bang or many bangs, then we're going to suppress it. And we started with a very, very high end. We went back to the same guts, the same chipsets and components that are in very, very high-end expensive hearing aids. We got 16 bands of technology to work with.
Okay.
And so you can say, enhance this, get rid of that.
Yeah.
And you can slice that pie up into very, very small pieces, and you can say, okay, I want 2 pieces of this and take away 4 of this. So.
Well, looking at the website, you've got the hunting gear tab, and I was looking at this the deer under the AMP series. So, say if a deer hunter is going to be getting out there very soon, deer season's right around the corner. What's this particular product going to help them do? What are they going to hear?
So on the deer side, it's a great place to start because it's that enhancement is all about monitoring what's going on around you. So our eyes, whether you're hanging in a tree or however you like to chase those critters. But the tree's probably the easier one. What are the frequencies that our ears need to localize sound vertically are very different than the frequencies that we need to localize sound horizontally.
Okay.
This is just the dorky ear guy coming out, right? And that's just kind of what gets us. But we use our brain needs different frequencies. If you're a turkey hunter sitting at a base of an oak tree, to be able to hear horizontally and really pinpoint and localize. Right. If you're hanging 20 feet above in a lock-on, you need a different set of frequencies to really be able to localize because it's in a vertical plane. The other part is that our eyes only give us 135 degrees of information, right? And so how mom had superpowers and had eyes behind her head.
Yeah, right.
She
Exactly.
could see you doing anything. Well, we don't have those as deer hunters. So your ears give your brain information 360 degrees, and so this ability to monitor. In the deer side is really more. We get 2 bits of feedback. It's this whole I've got my edge back. I feel connected. I'm engaged. I'm immersed into. I can tell what's going on behind me. I didn't know there was so much stuff going on behind me because if you don't hear it, you don't know it's there.
Exactly. Right.
Or the younger guys, the really hardcore, they're like, I've got superpowers. We hear it all the time.
Is there a way to turn off that pesky squirrel?
well, no. So that's where we looked at. We look at cadence. We look at timing. So it kind of goes back to the musician in the ear monitor,
sure.
Right? I mean, that little ground squirrel that we all know about. Yeah. If you amplify everything, which is what a lot of products did, kind of before TETRA, is that was the number one complaint was wind noise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you tried any other type of amplification circuit that's been out there, is they couldn't wear it if there was any amount of breeze, right? And then it was always that everything's too loud. And again, if you end up with a single, in the music world, what mixing boards look like,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
If we had 107 channels on a mixing board, we could make it really awesome. But no one will wear it on a backpack, right? Maybe they would. But so if we can go in and enhance certain frequencies and get rid of others, or enhance certain cadences, right? And that deer going through the woods has a very different cadence than that squirrel. Trying to find that nut.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Awesome stuff. one thing before we ran out of time I wanted to make sure we hit on was this personal hearing profile seen on your website. Tell us what that's about. Can you tune it for a particular person?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you jump on there. It's basically it's a fully calibrated hearing test. You have a cool little calibration to go through. You rub your hands in front of your nose and make kind of a sandpaper sound. When you listen to a file, your calibration file, and all you do is you turn the volume up of your phone or your tablet or your laptop. You turn it up so that the earphones that you're listening to are the same when you hit calibration as you do when you rub your hand in front of your nose. And we know about how loud that is and what frequencies that is. So that balances everything out, and then all of our tonal frequencies are fully calibrated. So you can end up with a hearing test. You hit submit. That comes to us. The first thing we do is we program your devices to make your hearing both equal, because that's how we localize. That's how we can tell direction, right? You have to have sound equal in both ears. Your brain needs sound equal in both ears. And then we put in these different specialty programs. And so you can either get a single pursuit, where it may be just turkey, just elk, just waterfall, just upland, or you can get multi-pursuits. So we have a wing shooter special where we kind of do if it flies, it dies. And we have 2 waterfall, an upland, and a range. Or you can go full multi-pursuit, which I kind of do the fur and feathers. And so we can put all of our specialty programs in there. The Texas guys all summer been going nuts. We got a wild pig program. And
there you go. Wow. So you can mold them. I noticed you can get a full mold to your ear, or different designs. So the options are endless. Looks like.
We've won several awards. As a matter of fact, I get to go to the NRA. We got the Golden Bullseye Award coming up here.
Neat. All right.
Next week. I head down to Houston. I'm super proud of that.
Congratulations.
And it's on the universal fit, which is that Alpha Shield. And the idea is that we work very hard to get it to fit just like a custom. But Jason, you're right. You can get a mold done locally. You send it to us, and we build a very sophisticated, fully custom that fits physically, customized and acoustically customized.
Well, there's the Harold Knight.
There he is.
Testimony there. That's awesome.
A man.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah. Well, time's running out. Bill, we appreciate you. Let me make sure I got this right. At TETRA Hearing on Facebook and Instagram.
There you go.
And then YouTube as well. You're out there on YouTube. The website is tetrahearing.com. How else can they find you?
And man, just pick up the phone. We'd love to talk if you haven't already figured that out.
And right down the road in Franklin, Tennessee, new digs, right?
If you're coming, we got a great new office in the Franklin Innovation Center. Super proud to be a part of that. But yeah, come see us. We got people coming through town all the time. They'll come and get fine-tuned. We help select the age. You can chat, you can email, you can call, you can text.
All right.
We're here. It's just a bunch of hunting dudes talking to hunting dudes. So.
Well, we didn't get into that, but I kind of took it as you're a hunting dude, or you wouldn't be making this product. You've been out there doing it, I'm sure, your whole life.
And I can't wait. We'll be out there in the field next Wednesday.
Awesome.
So
awesome. Well, remember, dove season's coming up September 1. This weekend is the antlered hunt. 1.8 million Tennessee Conservation Raffle. 1.88 million with the federal match, almost $7+ million that we can use for conservation.
That's right.
Thank you for your support.
Massive woo.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So much.
We've been here a long time. I was able to raise 3 kids here in the woods, hunting and fishing, and it was an honor. It was a pleasure to partner with you on that. And
couldn't done it without you. Appreciate it so much. Yeah. All right. Well, this is Tennessee WildCast. Bill, thank you. Don, thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Bill.
And we'll
you guys.
See you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do.